What's good, family? Welcome to PNP. It's your boy Rashad, one half of PNP, and I'm here today to break down the AFC East. Man, I got a lot of family in these teams. Okay, we got Jets, a lot of family. We got Miami, a lot of Miami family here, and we got the Bills. The Bills, y'all are just basically Carolina North, so y'all should be subscribed anyway, because half the team is Carolina Panthers. So y'all should already be subscribed. And shout out to the Patriots too, man. If you're not subscribed, and Cam Newton, they got Cam. So listen, it's family all over the AFC East. So really, I expect a lot from you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. We appreciate it. Helps more than you would ever know. Man, listen, make sure you hit that like button if you're a returning listener too. Hit that like button and also get in these comments. Listen, I know I'm not the genius of the AFC East. I'm an outsider, but I think the outsider's perspective is valuable. Okay, sometimes you guys get lost in it, and maybe you need an outsider's perspective. So, listen, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's go ahead and get into these drafts. All right, so let's get this thing started with the Jets, man. Listen, the Jets had a really solid draft. First of all, starting with Zach Wilson. Of course, we all knew this was coming. Of course, we know Zach Wilson has a great arm. We know he makes some wild plays. But I like this pick. Number one, I know the Jets fans, you traded Sam Darnold. A lot of you guys did not like that. But I'm a proponent of a guy, a new coach, getting their guy. It's something that they can hang their hat on and say, this is the guy I'm going with. Because there's always going to be an excuse if said coach is working with somebody else's quarterback that they did not choose. They were handed this quarterback, man, and there's always going to be an excuse for that coach to kind of get out of taking responsibility. So a coach comes in, Robert Sala comes in, and he has his guy. He has his guy. He has a quarterback that he has no excuses. You drafted him. You're hanging your hat on Zach Wilson. So I like that. Go out and get your guy. It makes sense. Get your guy as soon as possible so we can make an assessment on how well your coaching is because you picked him. So I love it, and I think it's an A pick for the New York Jets. Moving on, Elijah Vera Tucker. Listen, I thought Vera Tucker was gonna go a little bit before what the Jets took him, and I think it's a good pick. I think this dude is a plug and play guard, and you have to invest in the offensive line when you're bringing in a young quarterback. You guys already have Mekhi Becton. Now you bring in Elijah Vera Tucker, who's going to be a really, really good guard starting out and could potentially kick out to right tackle maybe. But I really like this guy. He's really talented, and he went right about where I thought he should. Again, I thought he was going to go a little bit earlier, but I think this is a really good pick by the Jets, especially 14th overall. I think it's a good pick. Good pick. All right, next up you got Elijah Moore. A little perplexed by this one in the third round, but dude, he's a dynamic player. He's super talented. Had off the chart pro day, and it's gonna see what happens with Jamison Crowder if he's Jamison Crowder's replacement, or if you're gonna keep him around for a little bit. But I see this as a duplicate skill set, and maybe you guys are preparing for life after Crowder. But again, you can't pay everybody, so you might as well start lining up your ducks. And if you're not going to pay Jamison Crowder, you might as well go and take his replacement in Elijah Moore. So I'm not mad at this pickup at all. Then you added Michael Carter, who's a really good fit, and you got him in a good spot too. I think you got him in the fourth round. Yeah, you got him in the fourth round. And Michael Carter is an electric running back. If you haven't watched UNC football, I challenge you to go in and turn on that Miami game where they straight up snapped on Miami. Both running backs had hella rushing yards. So this is a really good pickup, and this dude, he's a tweener. He's kind of like that McCaffrey type player. I'm not saying he's McCaffrey. Pump the brakes. That's not what I'm saying. But he's that type of where he can catch out of the backfield. He can offer some things in the slot. I think it's a really, really good pickup by the Jets in the fourth round there. Next up, Jamian Sherwood. I'm not familiar with this guy, so I can't really speak to him. Then you picked up another Michael Carter II, who was a safety out of Duke. Interesting, two Michael Carters, one with UNC, one with the Duke. That's very interesting and very weird. Just rivals. I don't know how that worked out, but again, I don't know much about Michael Carter II, so I can't really speak to that. Jason Pinnock. I like this pickup a lot. This dude is a guy that was super athletic, and again, he's going in the sixth round, so the fifth round. So this is about what you're getting in this range. And I think it was I don't like the fact that you guys didn't address corner a little bit earlier. You guys need a cornerback, and I don't think just drafting more cornerbacks, like I would say drafting Michael Carter, drafting Jason Pinnock, and drafting dude you got in the 7th round or 6th round is not. You need quality guys, okay? So I think you guys should have addressed cornerback. Pinnock, I think, is going to be a guy. He's going to fall down the depth chart early. Maybe he can kind of blossom into something, but I would rather have taken a surefire guy, especially that in that 3rd round. I thought there were some really good options there. But, it is what it is. You took, Elijah Moore, or you took whoever you took, and now you're living with the consequences of not having a good a solid cornerback. But at the end of the day, Pinnock, I think he's super athletic. He's going to provide some depth early, and he's probably going to be a special teams guy starting out. But I think you guys should have addressed cornerback a little bit early. Next up, Hamza Nizardine. I mocked you guys, Hamza, in the mock draft that I did for you guys. And I think this is a really, really good pick. I think, again, he has injury issues, okay? That's why he fell this far. But if he can address those issues and become healthy, this guy is going to be a really, really good player in the NFL. He's a big safety that can play in the box. He can support. He can play and run support. I think he's really good, man. He's a really, really good player, especially in the 6th round where you got him. I like this pick a lot. It's probably my favorite pick so far. Outside of Zach Wilson, that's going to be my favorite pick. And I'm a Florida State fan, too. My favorite pick for the Jets. Brandon Echols, Jonathan Marshall. I'm not too familiar with these guys. But listen, the head scratcher for me has to be I think it's going to be Elijah Moore. Again, I don't really know what you guys are doing there. Again, it could work out. There may be something I don't know about Jameson Crowder. Maybe you guys are going to move on. I don't know, but that's a head scratcher for me. I probably would have went cornerback there. I think there were some good options. But outside of that, this is a very solid draft. That being said, I'm going to give this draft an A. I love the first 2 picks in Zach Wilson and Elijah Vera Tucker. Those are really good picks. And then you got a steal in Hamza Nizardine. I would have addressed cornerback. I could give it an A-, but I'm not doing the minus plus minus thing. I'm still going to rock with an A. But again, quantity does not equal quality, okay? Just because you drafted a bunch of cornerbacks doesn't mean your cornerback issue is going to be solved. So that's where I halt a little bit on this draft. I probably would have gotten a cornerback, but it is what it is. Solid A for the New York Jets. All right, next up we have the New England Patriots. Man, the Patriots have decided to go ahead and draft the man, the myth, the legend, Mac Jones. Okay, Mac Jones fell to you guys at 15. And I'm not mad at this pick. I have a slight bias to Cam Newton. I kind of want to see Cam do his thing. And just having Mac Jones peek over his shoulder bothers me a little bit because Cam's never going to get a fair shake. If he has a bad game, they're going to be begging to see Mac Jones, and he's going to have that guy peeking over his shoulder every day. So, again, I'm mad at the fact, again, I think I like the Mac Jones pick at 15. You didn't reach. There was no trade up to get him, so I like the fact that you got him where you got him. But at the end of the day, I just want to see Cam succeed, so I'm a bit selfish there. But again, you have a good offensive line, you have some weapons, you're building up your weapons, you have a solid defense with everybody coming back. So I'm happy with what you guys did here with Mac Jones. I'm not mad at it at all. It's kind of about where he should have went, nothing higher than 15. So, good pick. I'm not mad at that. Next up, you got Christian Barmore, who I love. I love this pick. This dude is a borderline first-round talent. And this dude, you did add some pieces in free agency on the defense. But I like this cat. This cat is explosive, really good player on the interior of that defensive line. And I like this pickup a lot. It's the strength of that defense is going to be on the defensive line once it's all said and done. You added some other pieces. And good segue to Ronnie Perkins, who he picked up in the 3rd. Ronnie Perkins is another solid pick. Love Ronnie Perkins. This dude, again, another solid edge rusher. This is just BPA. He's a good player. Probably should have went a little ahead of what he did. But he's a good dude, a good strong edge rusher that can get to the quarterback, and he's good against the run too. So he did one thing. He did have a suspension. That's probably why he slid to the 3rd. But at the end of the day, you got a good piece. That's a steal right there. So I say that's going to be the steal of the draft and Ronnie Perkins. And then you're going to have Christian Barmore, who's going to be probably my favorite pick for you guys. Next up, you have Ramondre Stevenson. This dude is going to be a thumper. Think LeGarrette Blount type. You guys are very familiar with him. I think he's going to be a straight-up beast. He's a big, strong cat. He can break a tackle. He didn't test well in his pro day. But, at the end of the day, test scores don't come up when it's on game day. Okay, we don't care about none of that. We want to see what you can do on the field. And I think Ramondre Stevenson checks all those boxes. He's gonna be a really good player, and I like Ramondre Stevenson a lot. I question the pick at in the 4th round. You take a running back in the 4th round. I question that a little bit, but it is what it is. But next up, you got a Cameron McGrone. Cameron McGrone is a guy that probably fell a little bit further than he should. This is kind of another value pick here. You can line him up next to Devonta Hightower in the linebacker unit. So he's good against the run. He got decent coverage skills. I like Cameron McGrone. I think he should have went a little bit higher than what he did. Then next up, you got Joshua Bledsoe. Bledsoe is solid, man. I like. So I think this is a good pick. This is a good pick. I like this pick. You needed to add something in the safety room, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. Next up, Will Sherman. I'm not familiar with this cat, so I can't really speak to him. And then you got Trey Nixon, who I like a lot. This dude, you got him in the 7th round. I think you got some guys in free agency who could compete with him. But he is a former Ole Miss receiver, and he transferred to UCF, and he's solid. He's going to be underneath guy. He can take those underneath plays and turn them into huge plays. So I really like Trey Nixon a lot here, especially in the 7th round. Overall, I'm going to give this draft a solid B. Again, Mac Jones isn't going to be the guy day one, but I can hear the birdies calling. Once Cam Newton starts to, if he messes up and feels that pressure, I can hear the birdies calling for Mac Jones. And is he going to be ready? I don't know. But that Christian Barrymore pick is a very good pick. And Ronnie Perkins, those back-to-back picks I really like a lot. So I'm going to give it a solid B. Solid B for the New England Patriots. Next up, we have Carolina North, the Buffalo Panthers. Now, shout out to the Buffalo Bills, man. We kind of family at this point. You got half our players, half our old coaches, half our front office. So it's all good, man. Shout out to the Bills. Shout out to the Bills, man. All right. So first of all, you got started with Gregory Rousseau. Listen, man. Rousseau is an interesting, intriguing prospect due to his size. He's a big dude, and he offers a lot of flexibility. He can play all across the defensive line. But I question, the pick a little bit because you guys have invested so much in the defensive line in prior years. You picked up Ed Oliver, who was he's solid, and then you picked up AJ Epinesa last year, and so it's just been a lot of early draft capital spent on defensive linemen that haven't really worked out. And I think you added another guy who just has a ton of potential. But maybe isn't the guy. I mean, he could come out to be the guy, but you never know, man, with him. He opted out last year, so we didn't get a chance to see him. Had a beast year the year prior, had a ton of sacks. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I think, his size and his measurables pause are intriguing, okay? And I think that's the people are, they're just jumping at that. So we'll see what happens with Gregory Rousseau. I hope it works out. I do trust Sean McDermott with the defense, and I'm hoping that he can kind of get the best out of Rousseau. Sean McDermott is a great defensive mind, and I think he's going to be solid. We'll see what happens. But Rousseau is going to have to unlock it. He's going to have to unlock something within himself to get to that next level. We'll see what happens there. Carlos Basham is next up. I like this pick a lot. Again, you went back-to-back edge rushers again. And listen, again, you're adding another defensive lineman to that room. And, we'll see what happens. I like Boogie. I kind of like Boogie more than I like Rousseau, to be honest with you, based on production. You know what I'm saying? I think he's more explosive than Rousseau. And I think he's on the smaller side, but I think, he's a good player. Based on what he did at Wake Forest, I would have, it's a good pick. It's a good pickup. So I like Boogie there. I probably would have went cornerback maybe in the first and then picked up Boogie here. But it's a solid pickup. I'm not mad. I'm not here to kind of second guess what they did, but just kind of just offering a little different opinion. So next up, you guys had Spencer Brown, who I like a lot. I like Spencer Brown. The dude tested athletically out of this world at his pro day. I think he had a 10 overall RAS score. And so listen, you guys have Darrell Williams, you have Deion Dawkins, you have Cody Ford, who has some position flexibility, and then you add Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown's going to need a little bit of time to come in his own. I think he's tall, he's lengthy, and I think that it's going to take him some time to adjust his body to the NFL. So we'll see what happens, but I really like the pick Again, adjusting the offensive line never hurts. Never hurts to adjust the offensive line. Here you go. You back that up by going with Tommy Doyle. I'm not familiar with Tommy Doyle, but again, he's another tackle that you took out of Miami, of Ohio. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I'm not too familiar with that guy. But again, I'm not mad at anybody adjusting the offensive line. Then next up, you took Marquez Stevenson, out of Houston, wide receiver. Listen, in the 6th round, this is kind of what you're getting. Low risk, high reward type player. I think the Buffalo receiving corps could add a player like this. This dude can stretch the field. I think he's gonna be a really good player. Josh Allen can sling it. So you get another guy that can stretch the field. I think it's gonna do nothing but wonders for Josh Allen. Then you added Damar Hamlin. I'm not mad at Damar Hamlin. Here's good value. He's got a lot of experience, and he's solid. He tested athletically pretty solidly. Okay, so I like Damar Hamlin. Again, didn't have the best Senior Bowl, but he's solid. And at this point, this is kind of what you're getting. You're getting those guys need a little bit have question marks. They have a little bit of question marks around their game, so it is what it is. And Rashad Wildgoose, I'm not familiar with this cat. When I saw his name on the board on ESPN when I was watching the draft, I was like, who the hell is that? I'm not familiar with this cat. But he has decent production. He had 6 pass deflections in 2019, which is very solid. But again, we'll see what happens. I would have drafted a corner a little bit earlier if it was me. That's just me, though. But Jack Anderson, next up, I like him a lot. Jack Anderson is a good value pick here. He's a guard. Again, addressing that offensive line, helping out Josh Allen. My bad. And I think, again, Jack Anderson is good value at this point. I think you got him in the 6th or 7th round. If I'm not, the 7th round. So, again, I like this pickup. Guard, can put him in there, help protect Josh Allen. I like this pickup a lot. Again, adding depth. Very good move by the Buffalo Bills. All right. Overall, I'm gonna give this grade a B. The Bills get a B for their grade. I think they did a solid job. Again, I just question a little bit whether adding too much to that edge rusher class. You guys have added a ton. Just a ton of resources to the defensive line. I just question that. Maybe you got to add some cornerbacks. That's just that old Carolina mentality. Listen, I've lived through it where you guys really don't care about who's playing cornerback. You address the front four, you put any dude back there, and they're going to figure it out. It's worked in the past. Guys like Josh Norman have panned out. They played very well. Guys like James Bradbury, so it works. That theory does work. And maybe you hit gold, you strike gold on one of these late cornerbacks that you took. But for me, I just want to take a more surefire thing. But again, I like the Spencer Brown pick, the Jack Anderson pick. I like those pickups a lot. So again, solid B for the Buffalo Bills. All right, next up we have the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins had a solid draft. Listen, they started out with Jalen Waddle. They took Waddle over Devonta Smith, which is I don't really know about that one. Listen, everybody's so intrigued about how this dude could potentially be the next Tyreek Hill. I know we're all intrigued. I know he has elite speed. The injury issues are going to be a little bit of concern. He came back in the national championship game and did not fare well. He tried to go on it. Didn't look good. And so, again, a little bit concerned of the injury issues. But I think if it pans out, this is going to be a really good pick. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I would have taken him in the first round over Devonta Smith. I do like Waddle's game. I know he's very good. I know he has the potential to be very good. But you had Will Fuller. I know Fuller is going to have injury issues too. But it does reunite him with Tua. So I think it's a good pick. And if it pans out, you guys are going to look like geniuses. But I probably would have went somewhere different here. That's just me. He's got good speed. I know he's got good speed, good explosiveness, good hands. I know. But for me, I don't know if I would have taken Waddle at 6. That's a bit rich for me personally. So at the end of the day, I think it's a solid pick. You guys need a wide receiver, potentially. And I think you guys needed some help on the offensive line too. But I digress. Personally, I probably would have went offensive line over Waddle, but it is what it is. I get it. Reuniting him with Tua, it makes sense. If Tua's going to be a guy, you got to support him. So I get it. Moving on, you guys had Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips is a guy that I mocked to you guys when I did several mock drafts. I think it was an easy connection. He went to Miami, and you guys need an edge rusher. So I think it's a very solid pick. Again, he does have injury issues. He has the concussions that aren't necessarily related to football. So these top two guys have a little bit of an injury thing going on. So it could be very, very bad if these guys injury issues start to reoccur. So we'll see what happens. But Phillips had a really good pro day. He separated himself and made himself the pretty much top 1-2 edge rusher in the class, albeit a weak edge rusher class. But I think the athleticism is there, the strength, the size, the speed, all that stuff is there. All he has to do is unlock it. And if he unlocks it, he's going to be really, really good. So you just got to get him in the right system. I think you guys have a good system for him to develop in. I think it's going to be a really good pickup. So I like that pick. The head scratcher for me next up is Javon Holland. I don't know how you pick up Javon Holland. Listen, I love Javon Holland. Matter of fact, he did a shout out for us for one of our shows. So shout out to Javon Holland. I like Javon Holland as a player. I think he's a really good player. But how you pick him over Trevon Moehrig is beyond me. It makes no sense. So that one is my head scratcher. I don't get that one at all. I'm taking Moehrig over Javon Holland any day. I know Holland is very, very versatile. You can put him in the slot. You can put him in at safety. I know it. I get it. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm taking Moehrig over. Excuse me. I don't know if I'm taking Holland over Moehrig. That doesn't make sense to me. Next up, my favorite pick is probably gonna be Liam Eckenberg. You got a guy, late. I think late in the second round, mid to late second round. That a guy who's supposed to go early in the second round. And Liam Eckenberg is a guy that played on a very good Notre Dame offensive line. He's a guy that I would have loved to have as a Panthers fan. And I think he's really, really good. Although his coach did come out and say he's probably have to start out on the right side. So you may not have gotten your left tackle in the future, but you may have a right tackle. So we'll see what happens with that. At the end of the day, you got to fix the offensive line. So I think it's a good pickup. Next up, you got Hunter Long. I'm not too familiar with this one. You do have Mike Gesicki, but he is on a contract year, so I get it. Maybe you're kind of ushering in some new talent, preparing for Mike Gesicki to walk. So maybe that is what it is. I get it. If that's the case, I completely get it, completely understand. You're kind of hedging your bets there. That makes sense. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. Next up, Larnell Coleman. Not too familiar with this cat, so I can't really speak to him. Garrett Dokes. Not too familiar with him, so I can't really speak to him. So that's y'all drafting. Overall, man. Overall, I got to give this a solid B. Listen, there's a couple guys up here with injury concerns in the first round. And I know Phillips, he's pretty much over the concussions, and I know they weren't related to football, but head injuries are serious, okay? Waddle, again, if he goes down with another injury related to his lower body, his speed is going to be affected. That makes him not as attractive as he would be at full strength. So I know, listen, I know he's probably over. He's probably healthy right now, and you can't really draft scared. I get that, but I'm just saying, I'm just pointing it out. Javon Holland over Moehrig, I got to ding you there. I don't get that one. Liam Eckenberg, I like that pick. So a solid B for the Miami Dolphins. Good draft, though. All right, guys, you seen me talk about each draft. Now it's time to rank them. We're going to go from worst to best, from 4 to 1. All right, and coming at number 4, I have the New England Patriots. Listen, Mac Jones, I'm just not a fan of Mac Jones personally. I think he needs a lot around him to be successful. And again, I like the fact that they didn't have to trade up to get him. But at the end of the day, I don't think there's a better place for Mac Jones than the Patriots. Now, I do think they're a little premature. I think they got to see what they have in Cam personally. But at the end of the day, Cam's going to have somebody, watching his every move. And as soon as he messes up, Mac Jones is going to be right there in the lineup. So that's why I don't like the pick. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And they picked him. I just like they didn't have to trade up for him. So that's awesome. Love the Christian Barrymore pick. Love the Ronnie Perkins pick. The Ramondre Stevenson pick. Okay. But listen, at the end of the day, your best two picks are those two edge rushers. And it is what it is, man. I think it was a solid draft. But again, I can't put you ahead of the guys in front of you. So next up, coming in number 3, I have the Buffalo Bills. So the Bills, I think, had a decent draft. Boomer bust, right? You talk about Gregory Rousseau, ultimate boomer bust pick. Carlos Basham. You're investing a lot in that in the front. It hasn't really worked out. You haven't quite found that guy that's just going to dominate, and I think that's what they're looking for. So again, I love the Spencer Brown pick, and the Jack Anderson pick. I love those picks, especially on the offensive line. At the end of the day, you need one of these guys, whether it's Basham or Gregory Rousseau. I think those guys are going to make or break this draft, and we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But coming in at number coming in at number 2, I'm going to have the Miami Dolphins. I think the Miami Dolphins had a solid draft. Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, again, 2 injury-prone guys. Not prone, but 2 guys that have an injury history. I just question that Javon Holland pick. Liam Eckenberg, loved that pick. I think it was a good pick, a good draft for the Miami Dolphins. You went up and got your guy in Waddle, where you traded back into the into the top 10 to get him. You wanted one of those guys, you got him, and it is what it is. I think you guys had a very solid draft. All right, coming in number 1, we got the New York Jets, man. Again, I said it earlier, I love it when a coach can come in and draft their quarterback day 1. He has a guy that he can live with. He has to live and die with this quarterback. They are married to each other, okay? And I love that. So Zach Wilson, good pick. I'm a Justin Fields guy, so I probably would have taken Justin Fields at 2. But at the end of the day, you got a quarterback, and that's what matters. I think you got a talented quarterback either way. But Elijah Vera Tucker, you're protecting him. Elijah Moore, you got him weapons. Even go back down further. The only question mark I have is the cornerbacks. I don't like the cornerbacks that you got. Maybe Pinnock works out, but at the end of the day, you had to address that secondary, and you didn't do it. But again, at the end of the day, you protected Zach Wilson. You got Zach Wilson. You protected him and got him a weapon. I think those are key things. So, again, I love what y'all did here. So shout out to the Jets. But that's all I got, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell. And listen, help us get to 50K, okay? We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We need everybody's help. So it don't cost you nothing, man. Just hit the subscribe button. That being said, I'm out. Peace.